This meeting of the Simpson County Fiscal Court to order, and I'm going to ask Magistrate Nate Downey if he'll lead us in prayer, and after that we'll have the pledge to the flag.
As we bow our heads, Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for last night's laying down and early morning rising. Lord, please continue to put your loving protection hands around us, Lord, for each and every day. And Lord, please continue to bless this fiscal court, Lord, and bless all our community leaders, from our health department, for our first responders, Lord, the fire department, all other departments that we have here, Lord, and then continue to bless all the elected officials, from the national level, state level, and the local level, Lord, and then continue to give us the wisdom and the knowledge, to be able to make the rightful decision for our community as a whole. Lord, in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jason, you want to make your way up to the microphone here? We got the 2020 tax presentation from the Extension Office. Thank you for joining up here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I just wanted to present the 2022 tax rates from the Simpson County Extension Service. The Extension Service District Board met on August the 4th, and they passed a rate, or they accepted a rate of 1.9 on real property, 2.42 on personal property, and 2.0 on motor vehicle and watercraft. And these rates are consistent with compensating rate. So the board voted to take compensating rate.
All right, sounds very good. I think as we done last week, we just have to make a vote that we acknowledge receiving the tax rates from the Extension Office.
Correct.
Got a motion by Marty.
Second.
Second by Nate. Any question, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there again, we're not voting to approve your tax rate. We're just voting that we acknowledge receiving it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and if you've got a copy of that, if you could leave it with Nicole or...
I've got it, thank you.
Yeah.
You got it? Okay.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Going good?
Thank you, sir.
We're, I was just saying, we're almost fully staffed. Marty asked me if everything was going good, and
Yeah,
so we're...
you can give us a little bit of report on Extension Office activity. That'd be great.
We've not had a family and consumer sciences agent for quite some time now, a matter of probably going on 2 years. And so, of course, we continue with less people to try to offer those programs. And so luckily, Nancy Doyle, we were able to advertise and hire that position. She's been a support staff person there for 10 years, and now she's just going to be wearing a different hat. And she's transitioning. She's had that degree the whole time, and she's transitioning to family and consumer sciences, and then a grant-funded position, which is SNAP Ed. We now have that person in place. Karen Gibson had done that in the past. And so now in the near future, we'll be hiring a support staff person to replace Nancy, and thank goodness, we won't be a skeleton staff anymore, and we'll be back to fully staffed. So trending in the right direction. So appreciate y'all.
Good deal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Jason.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Glenn Vaughn, do you want to come up and speak to us, or do you want me to just explain to the court what's happening?
You can explain to the court if you please, and I appreciate some help if I can get.
Okay, so Mr. Vaughn's got some property out on Morgantown Road that he says when they put the fiber in, they have damaged the road tile, and I guess they've been out to look at it, but they haven't talked to you, correct?
They tore the west end tile completely out, and they made up under the yard for a month, I guess. And I complained about it, and I told them they need a new one, and they come back through with a skeleton crew or something, took the old tile and laid it back in the ditch, and I haven't been able to get anything done about it since.
Okay. contacted the folks, and he says they've gone and looked at it. And last week, I went out and looked at it myself, and I've got some pictures. I can show you guys the pictures that I took. I mean, honestly, it's hard to tell. I mean, when you look at the pictures or even go look at it in sight, it's hard to tell that it's ever been ripped out. But the end is damaged. There's a hole in the middle of it. Obviously, I didn't see how it happened, so I can't say yay or nay on exactly what happened, but there is damage there. Mr. Vaughn, the guy from Charter, he did tell me, because I called him after I went out and looked at it and took the pictures of it. He said that, he says they did not dig that tile. Now, this is what I'm just telling you what he told me when I called him. He said that they did not dig that tile out or rip it out of the ground and try to put it back. That's what, I'm just telling you what he told me, so I don't know.
That's not correct. And I meant to tell you what I wrote. The last big rain we had, before they come through, water was running through the tile and went back in the whole place in the field. But since they've been through there, when the rain comes over and across the road, it won't go through the tile. So it's definitely, when we fix start shedding corn and coming out there with the semis, it needs some help.
Yeah. Of course, on the state road, and Bobby, I don't know this, but I know the county we do, and I think the state will do the same thing. If the owner purchases a tile, they'll put it in.
That could not be a problem with it. I don't think that's fair because whoever should be responsible for it, because they're going to mess it up.
Yeah. And of course, the situation that we're in is they're not here they're not contracted to do work for us. They're contracted with the federal government. And I mean, I only have so much leverage on them. And I mean, I've called and the guy claims he's been out there. Now, I'll be glad to try to schedule a time that maybe me, you, and him can all meet out there. Okay. And I promise you, I tried several times to call you back last week, and for whatever reason, your phone, it wasn't connecting to your phone. It just come back a weird message, but.
That's been going on for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Did you or Dennis or any of you take a picture of it out of the ground, of the tile out of the ground?
I can get you one.
That would be, I mean, if they're saying they didn't dig it out and you have a picture of it out.
Right.
Then that would be, look to me like that would be proof that they dug it out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I was saying. If you,
if I ain't got pictures, I got proof of the neighbors and the people living down there.
okay, all right.
They stayed up in the yard for a month.
Well, let me, when we get done here today, let me get a hold of this guy from Charter again and just see if we can get a time that we can meet out there.
Well, if I need to have a lawsuit or whatever, I mean, but I'm unhappy about it.
I understand.
I would be too.
I understand. And I promise you, we're not ignoring it, but I mean, like I said, we're limited because we didn't contract them to do this work. The federal government's who's contracted them to do the work. Yeah, I think everybody kind of has that same feeling about the federal government.
Pretty much.
All right, well, I will. When we get done with this meeting, I will contact him and see if we can all just meet on site out there and look at it together.
Good to see you, Mr. Vaughn.
All right.
Thank you for your time, but I don't mean to be a griper, but right's right and wrong's wrong. I don't think they're doing me right, and I need help from somewhere.
Yeah, and I think the only way we're going to get the resolution is probably all of us meet out there together. Okay, let me contact them as soon as we get out of this meeting, and I'll get a hold of you.
If nothing no better, I can buy a towel, but it wasn't my fault it's going up, so that's the reason got a complaint.
I understand. All right, I will contact that gentleman as soon as we get done, and then I will call you back.
Thank you, folks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gentlemen, if you had an opportunity to review the minutes of our September 6th regular court meeting, we need a motion and a second to approve those minutes as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nate?
Second.
I heard Scott first.
Oh, okay, go ahead, yeah.
A second by Scott. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Then we had a special called meeting on September 15th, and the record of those minutes are there. If you if I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next item, gentlemen, is just kind of a cleanup and an oversight. If y'all recall, in our last meeting, we approved a resolution and authorized me to sign it to receive the TVA monies for the RDOT, for the development for the industrial parks. What we failed to have was a resolution number, so we need to make a motion in a second. I guess would you ratify that? Would that be the correct terminology, Counselor? To add this resolution number to that resolution that we approved in the last meeting, and that number would be 2022-09-06 RDAAP.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Nate. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, and next, here again, Counselor, we'll defer to you on this, as the surplus property sealed bid. We've got a list. Can we make do we need two motions or one motion? Can we do one motion to approve this list and authorize advertisement, or do we need to do separate motions?
I think you can do it in one motion.
Okay, so you see the list presented. There's 2 pickup trucks, a backhoe, and 2 bushwhacker mowers. So we just need a motion and a second to approve adding these items to the surplus list and putting them out for sealed bid, and to authorize advertising the sealed bid for these items.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nate,
Second.
second by Marty. And so you'll be able, so people that's listening, let's have any question or discussion?
I might want to vote first.
Yeah. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? So if you're watching or you see this, we'll get it on our website. Adam will get it on the website. You'll be able to pick up this list here at the courthouse, and you'll have an opportunity to go view the items if you're interested in bidding. And the sealed bids have to be received, what was that date again? September 30th?
Oh, that sounds right.
I think it was September 30th. They have to be in by 2 p.m. September 30th, if you're interested in putting in a bid on any of these items.
So where do you want to put these at?
You know where we want to put them, Bobby.
Probably can't say it on camera.
No, I can say it on camera. We want to put them over at the Public Works lot. And so the items will be located over at the Public Works facility on Kenneth Utley Drive.
Since he volunteered.
Since he volunteered, right. Yeah, that was a volunteer, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. Oh, me. You got to laugh and have a little fun from time to time.
A little levity is always in order.
Yeah. All right. Now, y'all recall when we done the budget and we put it together, the fire chief had presented us a pretty well thought out plan on how we needed to fund being able to purchase not just pickup trucks, but fire engines and have that moving forward, so that when we get 10, 20 years down the road and it's time to purchase another fire truck, we've built that money and had it there. And so we set that first amount of money aside in this budget, and we also agreed that one of the things that would happen is we'd purchase a truck this year. And so I know that we need to approve going ahead and authorizing this to
I'm
bid.
just asking the court to approve
This is a state bid for the Ram 1500 through the Glenn's Freedom Dodge. So we bought the previous truck over from. The total of that truck is $40,080.
Do they have it ready?
No, it's not ready, but just a little bit update on that. I did call about availability and all that. They are still currently building, and they are up through November, the last year's models that they sold. So these trucks now will be scheduled in December. He said they're gonna shut down for about a week when when they get done, switch whatever, and then, but they're currently gonna start in December, scheduled for delivery in April. So I thought that was pretty good. If we can still get it, and that's the kicker. This was released Friday previous, and he said last time they sold out within 10, 12 days. So we're right on like day 12. So if I can get it in this afternoon, if not, then there's other options. There's a place in Somerset that buys, but they buy them and put their options on them, and you just basically your options are you want a black one or a white one, and so this does allow us to go ahead and put the option on it that we want instead of having to do it aftermarket. So
That price don't include the lights.
no, that's a separate deal, and I don't have that bid yet. So I budgeted for the truck. Actually, I think when we did our numbers, I budgeted like $41,000, and that was, like I said, $40,080. And I think I budgeted a little over $11,000 for the package, which last time was about a $10,000 package. So, and again, that's kind of startup as far as we're working to get into this. Swap out program that, the sheriff had come up with a few years ago when we talked about, all that, trading them in every so often. A lot of that stuff we'll be able to reuse, but there's the initial expense of it. So like the slide outs and some of the lights and all those kinds of things. So I don't anticipate having to spend quite that much every single time, but there is a little bit of initial startup.
Did you mention the year, make, model, and where you're buying it from?
It'll be a 23 model, yes. From
And
Glenn's Freedom Dodge, and I can leave you this, I'll leave you a copy of it,
Purchased on the state contract.
state contract.
So you'll come back.
Yeah, I've been trying to get, but there's, so one thing about these trucks, they're not putting any of the Ram boxes on them. None of them. It's not even an option. Can't get it, and I don't know why, but the Ram boxes,
The
that
little-
look up
the
on the
little-
sides,
yeah.
which I really like, but in lieu of that, we're going to put a camper topper on it, is what we're looking at, which is kind of what I wanted last time, but that wasn't an option because we had to buy it from the other dealer. So that's taking a little time. He's waiting on getting some pricing so he can give us some pricing and all that kind of stuff.
Is that a pretty good average price for all the lights and the?
Yeah, I mean,
that
he's
just
a state-
seems extremely high to me.
He's a state contract guy. If we went out and tried to do that, it would be more. I think there's now 3 places on state contract that do the lighting and all that. And he's a master dealer on a lot of those, and he gets the lights a lot cheaper than, and again, that's just a quote. I've just solicited, we've been shopping some other camper shells and these kinds of things to put some stuff together. But I have time on that because the truck's not even delivered, till April.
Well,
So-
that's just not, that's not lights only. You're just talking about the slide out in the bed and.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a complete package. Yeah, and I don't know exactly what that number is gonna look like. I mean, these are the graphics package, the slide out, all those things.
All right. So right now,
But
we,
again, I'm not asking for any approval on that
Right.
at this time, and we'll get more estimates and all that on it.
right now, in the price, and the cost on the truck again on the state contract was how much?
$40,080.
40,800?
80.
40,008?
Yeah.
80.
80.
40,080. All right, we'll get there.
80.
All right.
And this is in your budget.
Yeah, so again, as the judge mentioned, we started last year. You guys already approved that, so the money is already there. I'm just asking to spend it.
Yeah. So we just need a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the truck for the fire department at $40,080 on the state contract price.
Second.
Got a motion by Myron, second by Marty. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, you remember a few meetings back, we talked about the different bonding numbers for the sheriff for tax collections, and we settled on the $750,000. So now we finally have the bond. If we need a motion and a second to approve this bond as they have sent it to us. And I don't think, I heard
Marty
Marty
first,
and
Scott.
Scott second. There's a place on here that says agreed to and accepted by, but it says waived here. Do we not, I mean, I know the sheriff has to sign it since he's the one being bonded.
Yeah, it's the insurance company, that's their part where they do it.
So we don't.
Every one of them
We don't
say
have to
that.
have any more signatures on it.
No, no more signatures. no.
We just have to approve that we've received this bond and we're good with it.
Yeah.
All right. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, gentlemen, the SRO funding. Sam and I had a meeting with school superintendent and school attorney week before last.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, when we talked about this a few meetings back, it seemed like that they were good with $54,000 and it would be a one-time situation. Well, in just a matter of a few weeks, they've looked at it, and what they're really wanting to do is have an agreement, like an interlocal agreement between the school, the county, and the city to cover the cost of the SRO program. Superintendent says that this initial startup year is probably going to be, what did he say, in the 450,000 range?
Correct.
But that year over year after that, it would be approximately $3. According to the meeting that we had, the school has the ability to have $175,000 dedicated to that without damaging their budget otherwise. And they would like the city and the county both to agree to cover the other $200,000 at $100,000 each and enter this interlocal agreement year after year. So, and you know, in the discussion, I mean, obviously, I can't speak for all of y'all. That's why we have these meetings and everybody gets to vote, because I don't speak for all of you. I speak for me. But I think collectively, as I said in that meeting, I mean, I think the fiscal court is absolutely committed to school safety. I mean, I don't think there's one man on this court that would say, no, we don't want our schools to be safe.
Here's my thought on it. If they're saying it's 375,000, I'd like to see some, no, not just them telling us it's gonna be 375,000. I'd like that'd be broken down and so we know what it is. I mean, because when this was first presented, it was gonna cost the county and the city nothing.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks later, it was 54,000 one time.
Yep.
And now it's went to $100,000 every year.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see something broken down. I'm not saying, you know, and none of us up here can vote no, because we vote no, they're gonna say, well, you all don't care about this. But I'd like to see,
And I
other
think,
than just somebody saying it's gonna cost us 375,000. I'd like to see some.
where's the $375,000 is
it-
going?
I mean, how much is the SRO officers' salaries? How much is their equipment? I'd like to see that broken down before I could vote on it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, right now, they're just asking for the money without really providing any
details to it.
details on what they're gonna spend it on.
Agreed.
Hey, Mark,
Yes, sir.
Nicole's got the figures, you can get them from her, that was all calculated.
And honestly, this probably, of course, you know, today was supposed to be a joint meeting, but the city had a conflict. I think the League of Cities or something meeting is this week, and they couldn't meet in the joint meeting. So we've rescheduled the joint meeting to October 4th. So what we need to do is get all that information and have this on the joint meeting, because I called and spoke to the city manager this morning, and he says, obviously, there's no contract yet, but in principle, the city has agreed to participate, but they haven't signed and done it. But the city has given them the $100,000 for this first year.
I guess my thing is, do anyone know why it went from us not putting no money into 54 to 100,000 now? Because that's a big difference, that's a big change. Do we know what changed that situation? Because, you know, going from 0 to 100,000.
I can't answer that question. I can only relay what I was told when it started, and that was just what I was told, and it's changed from that to here. But other than, did you pick up on anything in that meeting that may have changed all of this?
I have a supposition, but I don't really want to, I don't go for I usually object to speculation in court.
Okay.
I get the impression is they're trying to find a way to make this as budgetarily palatable as possible for them, which, you know, we do the same thing for us. The city, I'm sure, does the same thing for it as well. So,
And I still think, as I talked about in that meeting,
that's
and I said
kind of the
before,
impression I got.
Yeah. I still think that once this thing is off and going this year, I'm not saying we would get thousands and thousands of dollars, but I think we need to work on trying to recruit some corporate sponsors that would say, hey, we would like to be a sponsor to the school resource officer program. You know, maybe they'll commit to $1,000 a year or $2,000 a year. But I mean, if you could get a few of the industry to be sponsors to it, would help a little bit too.
Well, it's an interlocal agreement between the city, the county, and the school.
Yes.
So if we were going to do, would that October meeting not be the best time to
Yes,
discuss an interlocal?
it would, we would need to that'd be the best time to discuss it. Just get all the information, all the numbers right there in front of everyone, and have that discussion right there in that joint meeting.
And I just added to the portal what I sent to the school based on what Jerry D. discussed with me. And, I mean, that is what this year's total is, and you kind of see a breakdown of everything, so.
You just added it? Okay. That came through.
It hadn't came through yet.
So do we just want to table this to that joint?
Well, but I guess there is still the matter of, what do we want to do with the additional 46,000 they've requested to add to the 54 that we've already given? Because they do want that money for this year.
I don't really feel like we have an option on that. But we do have an option as far as binding this court from here on out.
Yeah.
So is that a motion?
Is that a motion to approve the $46,000 to the SRO program?
Yeah.
So Myron's got a motion to approve that 46,000.
Second.
Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carried. Next, if you had an opportunity to review the budget transfers, we need a motion and a second to approve those transfers.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nate, second by Myron, and you'll see we could have pulled it, but in anticipation of that, Nicole had already taken care of the $46,000 obligation to the school.
Yeah.
And just so y'all know, I mean, the public and y'all both know, like, when we get those kind of requests, we can put those transfers in so that when we approve them, but if for some reason, if the court had said today, no, we're not doing that, we just pull that transfer back and don't make it.
But that way we're prepared.
Yeah,
We don't have to wait another 2 weeks.
yeah. So we had a did we have a motion? We had a motion and a second, but we have not voted yet.
Correct.
Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, if you reviewed the bills and claims, we need a motion and a second to approve the bills and claims as presented.
So move.
Got a motion by Nate,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion?
I have a question.
Okay?
On this go-to communications, I guess for you, Joe, how come the jail is the only one that didn't participate in that program? The go-to communications, where all the departments are linked together? I've noticed on here, every department is involved with that except the jail. I was just wondering why you are not involved with it. The way I understand it is so that if somebody calls up here and needs to talk to the jail, they can just transfer them down there, or is that? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's not saying in the future we can't.
Huh?
It's not saying in the future that we can't, right now.
Okay. I just, like I say, I've noticed every department, and from talking to Nicole and some others, it makes it easier about communicating between departments, and I was just curious on that.
Is there any is there cost savings to the go-to?
With the jail, it would pretty much be an even wash, but it would just be because of the amount, we never, sit down and talk about it, Eric and Joe Mark, but with them, it would probably be it'd be an even wash for them. There may be a little bit of a savings, but it wouldn't, because the amount of phones that they've got throughout the facility probably wouldn't actually save. But I mean, it'd probably be an even wash, maybe a couple dollars here and there, but the convenience would probably, especially with, Nicole and the sheriff's office, it would be, the convenience would, help out definitely, I know.
Is it the one thing we can do with the jailer, like if somebody calls here and they really need to talk to somebody at the jail, instead of having to like hang up, give them a phone number and hang up, we could actually just transfer them right there to you from up here. All right, any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, put this on your calendar, Thursday, September 29th. So that'll be a week from Thursday. The Chamber of Commerce Member Appreciation Cookout from 11 to 1. Hamburgers, hot dogs, provided by the chamber. So if y'all get an opportunity.
At the chamber office?
At the chamber office.
Okay.
Yep. 201 South Main Street. So if y'all get an opportunity to go by, that'd be great. One thing, and I told Eric, I mean, if you want to come up, you can, but I told Eric, we had a payroll change notice, and obviously the court voted on the salaries and everything for the jail, so I didn't feel like I could sign this payroll change notice without, I don't know if this would require an approval from the court or just a head nod from court members, but this is a bump, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on.
It's just, we're filling the slot of the maintenance guy. Y'all know we lost the maintenance guy, so we got a new maintenance guy filling the same duties, and actually it's $1 an hour cheaper than what we were paying, so. It's actually a raise to that person because he was in the facility, you know what I'm talking about, but less than what we were paying. So.
I guess my question is, because we had everybody was at a salary at the end of June, and every employee got and was this employee already in this position on July 1?
Well, due to changes that were made for me, yes. And he's taken the full role that the other one couldn't, stay and all that stuff. So his pay, the new one's pay is $1 less per hour than the old ones pay, doing basically the same duties.
I get that, but I mean, my question is, where we were salary-wise, and then they, you know, because we went 7% across the board. I mean, was there a job title or job duty change? Because, I mean, I get, like, if you've got a
Well,
guy.
he was the backup. The one that's taking the role now was the backup. So, yeah, he's taking on more responsibility.
I'm not trying to argue with you or pick a fight. I'm just saying that
I'm not gonna fight.
Yeah, that this was all approved by fiscal court, so I didn't feel like I had the ability just to sign this without fiscal court approval.
You were a gentleman. You asked me before the court.
Yeah. So, I mean, does this need fiscal court approval? Or,
It's in my budget.
I'm gonna say if it's in the budget, I'd say not. I mean, if it doesn't put him outside his budget, I think you don't need the fiscal court to approve it. I think if it's outside the budget or more than what's budgeted, then I think you would have to approve a transfer of some kind, but if it's.
well, I mean, this will be in addition to what was budgeted for this particular salary.
I guess my question is, will this affect your budget, what you've been allocated for this fiscal year?
I don't know this for 100% fact. The county treasurer is probably more adept at this than I am, but I think the last recollection, personnel was tracking about 15 or 16% over.
While I'm up here, can we talk? Let's get this taken care of.
But is that?
It's actually just, it is tracking over by about 1.3%.
Okay,
And,
1.3%.
okay, okay.
Okay.
but now he's had a lot of upfront training expenses and stuff that I'm assuming is not going to continue.
My other question is, how much is the Class D payments tracking over?
I'm sorry.
Are the
Class D
Class D
payment-
payments
Oh,
tracking over too?
it's tracking over.
Okay, so it's,
I don't think you necessarily need to have a vote.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? I want to do things the right way.
I don't think you need a vote, Judge.
And, Eric, are you going to replace that guy since he was a backup? of the other?
I've got one that came from the floor that's coming up to his spot, and it's actually a lower rate too.
Has Adam been able to help you with IT issues?
He's actually going to school.
Huh?
What did you say?
Is Adam being able to?
Yeah, anytime we've called him, he's been fine. He's been Johnny on the spot. I don't have no problem with that.
Oh, okay.
Just saying, we're good there. Can we move on to something else that I want to talk about? You just brought it up. It's nothing, it's something I want you to consider. It's probably.
Let us get through the magistrate and counselor's report and get back on the,
I'll just sit down.
be great. Okay. All right. Gentlemen, I don't have anything else. I'm going to start with Scott because I know he does.
Yeah, I've had a call, and I've talked with Bobby and Mason both about this, and Broadway, it does have a stripe down that road that's faded very bad. And I would like to see if we could maybe restripe that. The price is $56.75, and I talked to Bobby, and he said he could. It wasn't in the budget to do that, but we could probably move a little bit around to make that happen. So, if that's all right with you guys.
Well, it is going to open up Pandora's box. I mean, I've got people in my district that are wanting road stripe because they seem to can't stay on their side of the road. And they think the stripe is going to make people stay on that side of the road.
Bobby, how wide does the road have to be?
So-
Right.
It's, well, I don't say it's required, but it's 19 foot or wider is when they suggest you should strike it.
most of the roads out there for me aren't wide enough to stripe.
Yeah.
But this has been a state road at one
Oh, yeah.
time, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
and to kind of put this in perspective, one of the people that actually stopped and talked to me yesterday about this, and I said, hey, you really need to talk to Scott, because I like the magistrates to bring up situations with roads and speed limits and all that in their district. But I did indicate to this individual that stopped and talked to me, because I didn't know, I couldn't have told you if Broadway was striped or not striped, I had no idea. I just told him that typically the county really doesn't stripe roads, so if the road is not striped, I don't know, but I said if the road has already been striped, then it would probably be a little easier to restripe it if it's already been striped.
Has it been resurfaced since, I didn't even know that was, I thought that was a state road, I didn't know, I mean,
I think it was a trade-off road at some point back
Yeah.
before our time.
The only one I think.
Yeah, I don't,
is
I mean,
Park Road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you're recommending it, Bobby can make it work, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you making a motion to
I
restripe
am.
it at a cost of $56.75?
yes, sir.
All right, so we got a motion to restripe Broadway at a cost of $56.75.
Second.
Second by Marty. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Scott, we'll have you a paintbrush this afternoon.
There you go. A couple of cones too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'll get you
Yeah.
some cones.
I'll go and get you a roller. I don't think it's better.
Easier on your back.
And bring another bottle of water. Well,
And a bottle of water, maybe two. You have anything?
that's all I got.
Oh, my goodness. Myron, you have anything?
No report.
Nate?
Yes, I have some things with the Parks and Recs. Lisa was currently working on a drive-through with Christmas light display for December. And also, the soccer and fall ball and softball will end this month out there at the park. Park improvements and storm repairs, was continuing. The storm repairs are the fence and the roof replacement at the Little League. The damaged trees from the storm were removed last week. All damage and repairs was covered by the insurance. So we wasn't out of any money on that ourselves. The flag football will begin next month in October out there. And the deadline to sign up has already passed. Also, the park play, that's a monthly activity geared towards homeschoolers, begin this month. And moving on to the Boys and Girl Club meeting, the BGCA is helping out on this CEO search. BGCA, they have a director. He's over CEO searching. So he's gonna help us out a lot on trying to find someone. But he also put out yesterday to the board that if we know somebody that's locally, that will be a good fit for that position, to submit their name down to the Boys and Girl Club. Because it would be good if we could find somebody locally that knows this community and knows the kids, but if we can't find someone around here, then he will have to go out nationally, from here to West Coast, to find the best fit. So if you know somebody, he said to submit their name, and then he'll start inquiring about it and looking into it. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Nate. Marty?
Well, he was just talking about the drive-through Christmas at the park, at the Rotary auction, which Sam, they sold me a bad ticket to that thing. I was talking to Lisa, and she said they were looking for sponsors at that, and they started at like 200 and went on up. I told her to sign me up for one of the $200 sponsorships, but she said it wouldn't, it's like everything else, they're gonna start it this year, and hopefully it continues getting bigger, so I think that would be pretty neat for the community, and I took some straw out there yesterday and donated for them to do their decorating for the hay thing. My only other thing is the same thing I say this time every year, is there's a lot of equipment on the roads. If you're driving and see a caution light, a lot of times there's equipment coming behind. Of course, a lot of these guys that are just for some reason or other, there's a lot of people that drive pickups with the caution lights on, they're not pulling nothing, not escorting nothing, and they just drive up and down the road. And then a lot of times they're pulling a lawnmower
They're
trailer
pulling a little trailer
that's
lawnmower.
not as wide as a truck, and it's kind of flooding the, once people, you see it, they see a caution light all the time, and there's nothing there, they kind of just, don't pay any attention to it after that, so. But there is a lot of equipment moving these during harvest, and I want everybody to be safe. That's all I have. Yes, sir.
The Morgantown Road in the Amish community, been expecting the city out there because traffic going back toward Auburn, the sheriff's department been out trying to slow them down a little bit, but the buggy running 15 mile an hour, and people going home running 70 mile an hour, is going to be a problem if somebody wake up.
Right. Well, we have that issue especially on 100, going into Allen County and then Gold City Road going into Allen County. I'm surprised there hadn't been a lot more wrecks with the Amish and the horse and buggies. Even if you're running the speed limit at 55 and I've seen them going up some of those hills, they are not running 15. Those horses are pretty tired by the time they get to the top of some of those hills, and they might be running 1.
Yeah.
So if you're running the speed limit and you pop over a hill around a curve, it's just, you have to really pay attention to it, or it can cause a bad problem.
If you're moving equipment, you got your lights and the caution and some of it seems like it don't straight.
Exactly. And apparently in the driver's manual, it says to stop right across from a mailbox, because that's where most of them will stop instead of pulling in a driveway.
All right, Counselor, you have anything?
I just wanted to thank Magistrate Chandler for his gracious donation to the Franklin Rotary Club for our annual fundraiser, the reverse raffle, and help fund and all the good works that Rotary does. And thank everybody else who purchased a ticket and supported us in one fashion or another.
I got one of those losing tickets myself.
Well, that didn't come from me this time, so.
No,
But I
no.
thank everyone who bought a ticket. Rotary Club is very grateful for your support as we help the community and people outside the community. So I want to thank everybody for that.
All right, Jailer, you can have the floor back now, sir.
Get direction. Let me check something real quick. We've got a problem, and it's going to need to be addressed. I talked to Myron this morning. I've talked to you, and I've talked to Sam. You and Sam were together when we did discuss this. I know the court has set monies appropriately at the beginning of the year. The economy has changed on us, not for the good, as everybody knows, especially the department heads that are trying to keep their budgets intact. I'm having a real issue trying to get somebody to work for $15 an hour part-time. Now, with that being said, when they don't come in and work for $15 an hour part-time, I'm having to turn around and put my full-time people in these positions, and we're paying them time and a half. I'm asking the court to reconsider what that y'all have talked about and approved, or amend. I think I can get them in there to where I can hold on to them for $16 to $16.50 an hour. Still a lot cheaper than paying time and a half. And we've Indeeded, we put out on Indeed and everything else. Nevertheless, the jail don't stop, regardless if we get them in the door or not. I don't know what to do. My hands are tied, and I'm asking you to reconsider, or at least consider an amendment to the decision that's been made at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Well, why don't we do, I understand, you're right, we discussed this over at Sam's office. Why don't we do this? I will have the ladies, calculate what we've done in overtime since the beginning of this fiscal year and what we've done in part-time pay since the first of the fiscal year, and we'll take a look at that.
I mean, I've got some that have been with me for a while, but they got full-time jobs. And calling them when you need them and saying, hey, I need you there. Well, I can't, I'm at my full-time job. But I can on this day and this day and this day. Well, I'm covered for that day. But I can't get new ones to come in and even entertain. And I will tell you, I think there's two problems. One, the wages are not high enough. I think that's one of the problems. The other thing is the government. Let's talk about government again. They've got it out there where you go out there and if you just, well, I applied for a job, but I'm not going to take it. Well, guess what? That's the only requirement they got to do to keep drawing that so-called free money. And it's taking its
I don't know really what's going on with that because a lot of that money has dried up.
I know it has.
So
but
I still
some
don't
that got
know.
in later.
Yeah, so I still don't know where all the workers are at.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, what we need to do too, I mean, part of what our discussion would be too, would be looking at the pay scale, honestly, of all full-time employees across the board. Because I mean, that's another tough issue if you're going to pay part-time workers as much or more than you're paying some full-time workers.
Well, actually, if we did let's just say we did $16.50 at part-time. I can start a full-timer at $16 an hour. And we put them through the probation period and this, that, and the other, which their pay would end up being around $16.75, $16.80 when they went officially full-time and their benefits kicked in after a year. But we're still right there in the ballpark where I think I can make it work.
Yeah.
I just need some kind of attractant to get them in the door.
Yeah.
And the more part-timers, y'all know this, the more part-timers that I can utilize, cheaper it is on the county.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess the thing is, and I don't know the answer to this. I don't know how we get to there. Like getting people to work, keeping them working, getting them to show up to work. I don't know the answer to that. But the reality is this, and I think this is where we're at. You're talking about somebody part-time at either $15 or $16 an hour. I don't know if that other dollar means anything to them.
You may be right.
I mean, because if you're talking about coming in on a 12-hour shift, you're talking about $12 that you're going to get taxed on, and you're going to get $9 of it.
But it's perception on a lot of people.
It could be.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't know that $1 an hour. There's something that has been ingrained into the fabric of our society for a generation now.
You're right.
And I have said this over and over. We have failed an entire generation of people, and we're in the process of failing the second generation of people.
You're exactly right.
Of making them understand the importance of work, the value of work, and the value of money. And I'm not arguing with what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't know that it would really make a difference on getting people there to come to work.
Well, I thought about, if you still got to have your part-timers regardless because things change on a daily basis. And I actually thought about maybe putting 2 more positions to have them float those low, the times that they're gone on vacations and stuff like that. I thought about that. Would that be cheaper? But then I can't even get them in the door. I can't get them in the door just to hire them. I'm having issues.
I asked Michelle how many part-time jail staff have signed on in the last 8 weeks, and she says 4 have signed on in the last 8 weeks. And you can't get any of those 4 to come to work?
I mean, we had one that, no, I think actually we had 2. You can verify this with Michelle, that they hired on and then never showed up. I mean, that's what I'm dealing with.
Another thing you have to consider is, if you raise theirs up, then are you gonna have full-time? Thinking, well, if you raise part-time, do you need to raise?
And that's what I'm getting
glad,
at.
I'm glad, I am so glad.
I'm
I'm
not
so
saying we don't
glad
need to do
you
that.
said
I'm
that.
just saying, if you're, there was a thing on Fox News this morning I was watching, and the guy was saying, it's $15 an hour minimum wage, and some of his employees were making 13, and they made him go to 15. Well, then the ones that were making 15, they wanted to go to 17, and
Yeah.
it was just an effect on
And that's the
all of
point
it.
I was getting at. If we do this, I mean, not just at the jail, but every other department that
Yes.
we've got, so it's,
With you saying that, that is the whole reason that I give the raises the way I did and the matrix. I had the matrix set in place. Now it's like this. That's the result. That's what I was trying to explain. This is what we're going to run into, and we're running into it. You brought it up. It's one of those things. Bring them in. Well, I'm only making this. Well, that's all I can pay you because that's where we were. I don't know what to do, guys. I want them in, I want some people coming in the door. I want some
well, the
part-time
reason we
things.
doing what we doing,
I know
is
it's
because
budgetary.
it's not fair for that guy that's been here for 10 or 12 or 15 years, that's
Yeah.
in a role that has more responsibility.
I get that.
To not get the full percent of raise. That's like stealing from him.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
There, and on
Or her.
on the
I don't mean to be
budget,
generic specific, him or her.
him, there you go. Be sure. There you go. But
For them.
Them. It.
when you're talking like a dime difference across the board, that's basically was the difference. But anyway, let's not get in that. I need some help.
All right. We will put information together
Thank you.
from beginning of the fiscal year. We'll take a look at it. We'll have all that together, and I'm just going to be honest with you. It'll just be a discussion at the October 4th meeting.
And that's all I'm asking, Mason. That's all I'm
Okay.
asking for is just give us some kind of direction that we can get to or a solution. But
Well, don't just let them do the numbers. I mean, y'all do the numbers too.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, we
Yeah, show us where you think y'all are at, and we'll take a comparison note anyway. And
Well, and
say,
it's gonna have to take that, because if we look at an overtime number, I mean, you've got so much overtime right now with all your upfront training expenses, so, I mean, that's
We-
gonna
we
have to.
wouldn't know,
We
right.
don't know that, so you all are gonna have to know that, to take that out of the factor, because that's not what it's related to.
that would probably, I was gonna say it's gonna be difficult. No, that'd probably be pretty easy because
Okay.
I mean, going through the training, because all of our training is uploaded to get us through the year.
right,
Okay.
So I can pull that.
okay.
That's,
All right, well, just get that to us.
all right.
Preferably not October 3rd. I mean, get,
We just had that
Get a little
discussion.
sooner.
yeah, because we had, I mean, and I say that, I mean, 2 weeks ago, we needed a budget transfer, and I said, well, get us how you want to get it together, and we got it 10 minutes before the meeting today. So we need.
I guess I had called. I guess it was under the impression that we knew about that. But anyway, it's over.
Okay.
I told.
Yeah, get us that information, as soon as you can. Of course, I think we gain an extra week between, I think it's 3 weeks before, is that right? Are we 3 weeks from October 4th? Or
No.
still just 2 weeks away?
Yeah. you
All
should
right,
just-
but get us that info as quickly as possible.
2 weeks.
I see the sheriff step.
I was on that,
Okay,
but I was under the impression it was miscommunication.
okay. Sheriff, you're up to bat if you have anything we need to hear.
Apparently so, he's coming up here.
Make it quick. October's coming up. Tax bills will be coming out, so people should be looking in their mailboxes probably the first week of October. Not October 1st, it probably won't be there, but we're mailing them out a few days before that. So first week of October, you should have your tax bill. They are online. You can call the sheriff's office. We've got a website you can go to, so you can look them up online if you want to. And October 3rd will be the first day that we accept payment in the office, because October 1st is over the weekend. You can mail them in as soon as you get them. Come in, pay them online. That's all I had to say.
Is it out there online now or after October 1st? Where you can
You
check?
won't be able to see them online to October 1st.
October 1st?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of rules and regulations by the state on when you can get them, and so we're not holding them back from you. It's the PVA and the county clerks getting them ready. They mail them out, then we do the collections, but October 1st is as soon as you can see it.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. Chief, anything with the fire department? Bobby, anything with the road department? I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Nate made the motion.
Second.
Marty second. All in favor, aye? Aye. All right, everyone.